Welcome to Meeting of the Moms, a place to talk about all the things. I'm Lorna Adams. I'm a wife, mom, and certified life coach. I think being with people makes anything a party. Thanks for coming to ours. I'm here with my good friend Amy. For years, we've spent the early morning hours running and talking together before diving into our days.
Hey, I'm Amy Rasmussen. I'm a teacher by profession, a wife and mother by choice, an optimist by nature, and happy by design. Here at Moms, we believe the world is wide open to all of us and that we have unlimited potential. We're so glad you're here.
Since we just recorded an episode about Labor Day and how I just knocked it out of the park with prioritizing and figuring all the stuff out, I had to laugh this past weekend because it was one of those bombshell weekends where nothing really works. And that's not true. It wasn't the whole weekend, but our Saturday was that way. Well, I had looked ahead on the calendar, and this particular Saturday, there was nothing on the calendar, which was awesome. We didn't have a soccer game. We didn't have a track meet. Everyone was available. So I had told Nels, hey, we can all go climbing. And I had communicated to the kids, made sure that they were still available. My one son had specifically not gone to a meet on Saturday. He went to one earlier in the week because when I communicated to him the timing and that I'd kept it clear, he's like, okay, that's fine. I'll just go to this other meet. So we were all prepped for it and everything. Well, as it turned out, we just weren't on the same page about the leaving time, about how quickly to be moving, or about when we wanted to be back, and we weren't really on the same page about location. We all had a different idea of what that day was going to look like. One son said, oh, well, I thought it was just kind of chill. And then someone else in the family was like, why are we not out the door yet? Why is everyone going and doing all the things? And then at some point I was feeling cranky and resentful. I mean, it was just all the things. So much so that we were in the car ready to go, and then we did not go at that time to do the thing. So we all took a break for like 2-3 hours, maybe. Not a scheduled break, not a calm, like, let's all have a little breaky, shall we? It wasn't a happy, proactive kind of thing. It was like, we have to have a break now. So I did some talking with some of the kids. We kind of talked about how we got to this point. My husband took a minute. We all just kind of took a minute in the ways we needed to. A few hours later, we still went ahead and did the thing. But I was like, I'm not sure about those last 2 episodes we just posted. And then I thought, you know what? We're just going to talk about this weekend as well. Because this is how life goes. We have those weekends where it's, we're like, yay, I sat down and made my priorities clear to myself and communicated them, and we had fun. And then we have weekends where we thought we did the communicating and we did not. Because that was one of the things that fell apart, Lorna. As I was talking to different people, we hadn't really communicated on a time. We hadn't said this is specifically where we're going to climb. So we just hadn't done all that.
I just think it is funny how even when we think we have things figured out, it doesn't always go the way we think. This is normal life. Some weekends are smooth and easy, and even not even a full weekend. Sometimes some parts of a weekend can feel really great and some parts can feel really off, or a whole weekend can feel really off. Or I think there's bits and pieces. And so I think it's just great that this is real. You're just living real life. Good job, Amy.
Well, and most of all, why would we even record about this? I think it's to just show that this is real life. It's not that every single weekend is a highlight reel.
Yeah.
And this particular weekend was super funny because we had planned to get a picture, not like a professional picture or anything, but we were just like, oh, let's do this thing and get a picture. And at the end of where we were going to get the picture, we talked about it and we're like, let's do it another day. So that the picture's not connected to all of this. I think it's something to be aware of. If we have another opportunity to take the picture we want to take, let's do it on a day when the feelings and all the things are what we want to remember instead of the day that was super rough.
Well, and even that specifically, you talking about a picture, we just had a lesson in my society, and the teacher was talking about an activity. It was similar to what you're saying, like a plan to have a family picture. It was a mess. It did not go well, just not even fun. They ended up getting a picture that looked great. And her daughter ended up getting it drawn up. You know how they do faceless pictures of the family? Her daughter had given her that picture as a gift. And to her, it's a treasure. She knows the day wasn't awesome, but this was so pretty. And I think even the way the sky had looked, the sunset or whatever, how it all had looked, ended up being a really great experience. I like that piece of it, right? That the picture looked so great. And then her daughter ended up getting the faceless pictures made out of that. And so that was super cool too. So now she appreciates that. And I think that's part of it too, is the truth is there's a lot of messiness and then some goodness too.
Yep. I have a friend who's, when she was dating her now husband, her future mother-in-law said to her, just be aware that marriage is 10% horrible, 15% totally awesome, and the rest is just putting one foot in front of the other day after day. And I think that's helpful to remember too. And of course, those percentages are made up or whatever.
Yeah.
The win, I guess, for the weekend is that we did kind of do this reset. Then on Sunday, we were able to have family here. We had an enjoyable time, like an extended family. Sunday was actually great. So I realized that at the beginning of all this, I told you last weekend was horrible. It was rough. But really, when I look at the whole picture, the whole weekend wasn't horrible. Saturday was rough. And actually, if I think about it even more, Saturday was rough because like Nelson and I ended up getting to bed quite a bit later than we usually get to bed. So we were both quite tired. I was able to kind of sleep in a little bit. He wasn't. So anytime we can pause and slow down and really look at the whole picture, then we can actually see some reasons for it sometimes. There was a reason it was rough if we were tired. And then one of my sons ended up staying out later than usual. So he was tired. So just looking at all of that is helpful. And then whenever we can look at a pocket of time like that, maybe the package of Friday to Sunday, that weekend, and start looking for the wins, then a lot of times more good things can come to light. And if I do that, if I sit there, there's actually lots and lots of fun, good things that happened over the weekend.
Well, that's what I was going to say too. I also think life is kind of 50-50. If there's going to be hard and there's going to be good. And if you're going to choose to look at the hard's going to look really big and feel like way more than 50%.
Right.
And if you're going to choose to look at the good, it's going to look bigger than 50% sometimes. And so I think that's also kind of good to remember that that's just life. We're going to have highs and lows, and it's supposed to be that way. We're humans having a human experience.
Right.
It's not always supposed to be perfect and roses and daisies, right?
Yep.
And it's still going to be good.
So tell me your stuff.
Okay. So our weekend ended up shifting. 2 of my kids, their plans fell through. 3 of us were going to get together over the weekend. We were going to head up north and meet up with my daughter in Provo. My other 2 kids both had plans on Saturday, all day Saturday, and they both fell through. And so we're like, well, you can come with us. And so I think even with like, they had disappointment that their fun plans fell through, but then we were able to all hang out together and have an enjoyable experience. So it was kind of cool. Even amidst that hard, there was still good that was able to come of it too. So that was kind of a fun little moment or little time to notice, oh, this is awesome that this is how it turned out. It wasn't because it was just easy and good. Right. There was still some disappointment attached, but then we had a great time and it worked out well.
Yep. And I think recently on one of our episodes, you brought up Gretchen Rubin saying of be full of desire and easy to please. And that's just so applicable to so many situations. And I guess I also just like all of this and looking at it in a real way, because it is so easy to think that everybody else's life is a glorious day every day, or a glorious weekend every weekend, or any family time spent together is just like, we're the happy family who have it all figured out. And we're just a normal family who has the ups and downs. And I just wanted the whole picture. So with what happened on Labor Day and then the weekend after, it kind of gives us the full spectrum of what can happen.
Yes, indeed. Well, good job. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for coming to Meeting of the Moms. We hope it made your load a little lighter. We'd love to hear what's on your mind. Send your celebrations, takeaways, and suggestions for future topics to momswithamyandlorna@gmail.com.
If you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe. If this isn't the right fit for you, we wish you well on your journey. Until next time, I'm Amy Rasmussen.
And I'm Lorna Adams. See you next week at Moms.